Hi, this is IK. Welcome to React Redux Thunk from scratch. Uh, Here is a last video we spoke about React application without Redux and Thunk. And we see that state is owned by component. State is memorized in component. State is variable, lay in component, exist in component, and in child component of that component can be props, can go down to child, to grandchild, etc. And but it is important. State is in component. It is local state of component. Here is a state is in component read.js. And that state in this component, there is update, delete, read, create. Look at the app is, and first initial rendering, there is a fetch data, and this application must go in asynchron path in outside of React, go to server, mock server, and take array, take our data, take array from that mock server and respond it. It is respond data coming back, request response, and we see that state. We see that state on the screen. It is now 3 post. Now, in this video, we must imagine path to create React Redux Thunk, same application with Redux. Must have Thunk. We need Thunk for control that Redux can't control asynchronous process, because Redux is a state manager, and he controls state from source, even if that source is outside of React, like in next application. And let's go to application React Redux Thunk. It is the same application. It is also post. It is array. Members of array is a post. Every post is object with ID, heading, and blog post or title and content. It depends how I call it. But array of post is state for this application, 470 without Redux, and also same application with Redux and with Thunk. Here is React Redux Thunk application, Thunk 1. Here also we have add new forms, add new post form, and we have post list down. Every post, there is a button update and button delete. Update and delete. But what we see, it is because of read. Where happen read? Read happen same as in previous video, previous application. Happen in initial rendering. Initial rendering of a post list. Let's go to see, it is Thunk 1. It is a post list, and Look at in post lists. Look at use effect, and we have dispatch fetch post. It is a difference. Here, before was only fetch post in asynchron asynchron await process, promise, etc. But now we have all that, but from here we dispatch fetch post, dispatch, because we have Redux, because a state must, a global state, it is posts, it is that array of posts. Now is saved, exists in Redux. Redux is a separate application, separate pattern, separate library of React. It is separate team in Facebook. What thinking about Redux, and now we must dispatch, because only dispatch can dispatch action creator, and only action creator can dispatch action object to reducer function. Reducer is function in store, in Redux store. And reducer is only factor, is only facts, is only function who can update, immutable update state. Before, without Redux Thunk, it was set state, set post. It was that function what can immutable update state in component. But now we have reducer. Only reducer can immutable update state in Redux store. And dispatch, here is a dispatch. What dispatch action creator? Fetch post. That action creator is Thunk function when we go there. And the Thunk function is part of middleware code. And fetch post Thunk function can can send to dispatch like information, like for immutable update state from that asynchron process. It was dispatched for pending. It means asynchron process is in start and in exist. After that, dispatch succeed or dispatch failed. If dispatch succeed, we have response data like before, and we the data, that response date was dispatched. Every dispatch pending, dispatch succeed, all that go to a reducer, and reducer change state, because now state have three parts, not only array, have a post, name of state is posts, but there is properties posts inside of that state, and properties status, and properties error. And every of that properties, if changed, we have dispatch. And what dispatch? Dispatch pending, it is a status. Dispatch or before pending, it is idle. Dispatch idle can be dispatched, but the idle is positioned before asynchron process start, and it is not interesting. It is a state before, but when initial initial rendering goes and use effect activate and we have dispatch fetch post, that moment start process, asynchronous process with promise and all other, and fetch send pending. It is status pending, and we call that loading. And from idle, status changes in loading. And after finished that process, we have succeed or fail. If succeed, we have response data, and that response data would be dispatched to reducer. Always dispatch action creator, and always action creator create object. Object creator create object. Object action creator create action object. An action object is one input in reducer function. Second input is a state. All that you must know without looking in code. You must know that story. And okay, after that, we see what we see. Here it is. After that process of dispatch, three dispatch, we have a result. It was error or it would succeed. Here is a succeed, and we see result of succeed is user interface like ours now have a visible post list. Now, when we see post list, we see here we have update, delete. Every post there is update, delete. Up exists form for it, and every of that actions, every of that actions must go, for example, post for and some content. When I save post, it must go to mock server, and that part go to mock server. It is dispatch. It is only by dispatch we start action to action to go to reducer to Redux store. But this time, that dispatch activate Thunk function, and Thunk function send two more dispatch from that path. That post for and content must go to Thunk server. It is request and HTTP request, and the server is always okay. Send same data with ID, because only server can give ID. Same data with ID of post. That post would be response, and we have that response data. And what we do with that, it dispatched to. It would be dispatched by Thunk, dispatched to Redux store. Save code. It was dispatched to server. In server, it is update. Data, same data come back to our, like response come back to our application, and our code in application dispatch, Thunk dispatch, fulfilled option, status must be fulfilled, succeeded. That response data, we with our code update, immutable update, were in a reducer. But when we have Thunk, instead of reducer, we have also reducer, but now call it extra reducer. Extra reducer. When I click update, I must have a form visible for update. Click here, and I must see same post in that it is post one. I see post, and I change that post something, never mind, and a update again. It is button of form update, and that update must send this data. What I change that post with the ID must send to server. It was a method update, request update, response, if all is okay, response would be response data, and that response data would be ID, content, and same ID, and content and heading, and we have completed updated post, and that updated post would be dispatched to extra reducer. Extra reducer would be immutable update that existing updated post. Immutable update, I always think on array, but this is process where when we said CRUD, create, read, update, delete, we think on posts plural, on array. But when we create, we think on post, singular. When we update, we think on post. When we delete, we think on post. When we read, to see all, we think on complete array. We want to see every post. Okay, here is update. And if all is okay, post one is removed from our state posts. If I want to delete, now delete, I don't need to see any form, but delete that post. Also, when I click delete, it must go, would be dispatched to mock server, and the Thunk function would be dispatch pending, would be dispatch fulfilled, and with the extra reducer, in reducer, what we call now extra reducer, would be final result would be object, action object, and action object, there is a action type. Action type said what to do with payload. And here delete means delete. We want delete that post in posts, in array posts. And extra reducer do that. Remove deleted post from our posts from our state. I want accent again, bold again, to know where state is saved, who take care about state. When we use Redux, state is Redux take care about state, but not every state, only global state. Redux don't worry about status, about state is object, what have properties, posts, array. Object is posts, and there is array posts, and there is properties posts array, and there is status, and there is error. It is properties, but that properties error is also state, but not. It is local state. It is. I said wrong now. All that together, posters go to. It is object go to Redux state. Redux state. And properties of that object, it is all in Redux state. And every changes of properties, we change complete object posters. If changes status, we re-render component in Redux store. If we have error, re-render. If we have post coming succeeded from mock, we have re-rendered component. It means post's object what have three properties is state is saved in Redux store, and the changes create extra reducer. Changes create extra reducer. But help states like show update form or updated ID, that is a state, local state. It is not state in Redux store. In Redux store is only posts. Now it is object. Before, without Redux, posts was only array. Now we have posts object because we must control process from asynchronous process. We must control status of that process, and we must control error of that process, and we must control success of that process. And because of that three component, it is three properties of object post. And now our global state is object post with three properties: posts, array, status, and error. But before was only array post, because we don't need control. We have no Redux. Redux is state manager, big pattern of state manager, and manage, control every part and outside of React also. But because Redux cannot cannot control asynchronous process, only understand synchronous process. We need middleware, and we need a Thunk function, what is a part of that middleware, and that Thunk function have possibility dispatch status, dispatch state about what take care. It is a state posts. It is not state show form or updated ID, etc. Post, and it is object and dispatch any changes of properties of that object. Any changes, change status changes, pending, fulfilled, can be error can change from no error to have some error. Post from empty can change to fulfilled when coming from server. And you must learn like that. You must say yourself, okay, I now tell a story about, okay, what I do. React, only React. With state, array, post, state, where it is, in read component. And now think in the head how update, how delete every of that part. And when you know that complete story in every detail, you are ready to sit down and code. You are ready to go to some interview and to say, I show you what I know. Other out of that, don't ask me. But it is a lot of you. Uh, if you work by my video, you spend more than 100 hours only listening, but plus your exercise, your thinking, your experience, your repeating, and all that is my process. It is process what I need to learn React. I know a lot of knowledge about web development from I live that and create first pages in time when only HTML exists and attribute of HTML. And first step, first existence of JavaScript, of CSS, all that I go through that. But I user interface get up, design, etc. And now, or 2 years ago, I start in frameworks. I start to learn frameworks, JavaScript library, and this Angular, React, etc. And I need that time to believe in my knowledge, and I produce that by yourself, I can think. And all my book I write for myself, because I write them in process of learning. And this React was process of learning. Of course, now I can produce short, but it is only it only can be 2, 4, 10 hours all that knowledge. But learners, there is no. It is not something more valuable than this 100, because book can be short, right? Video can be short. All that can be compressed, but every learner, every student need time. We cannot compress knowledge, give in our head, and we need time. We need thinking about. We need discuss about. We need try explain somebody, and we need surf and ask around, because how 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 you there is it is don't depend how you start learning, from framework, from web development, fundament. You will always be in situation in that you learn part of big panoramic view. You always learn part, and that part is very dependent about context. And the process of learning is slow because there is a name, there is a time, but there must be time. Learning process consume time, consume our time, and who don't hurry is a better position with the learning, and it is the better to waiting for interview. Give your learning as many time as you need, and maybe leave of something other job, but not hurry, because when you coming in firm, in company with your hurry knowledge, in company you work maybe some specialize, and you never be a complete person for a higher position in web development in that company, because you will must maybe stop work and get out from work and study again 1, 2, 3 year, or maybe go to faculty or magistery, etc., etc., or go to courses around you, online courses, etc. Because when you take money for your work, that work need that work. It means that we must something work that company earn that money, that company earn income, and there is no time for learning. Mentor is excellent thing, but you must learn. Mentor only help you in one moment or another, but it is not a knowledge, it is experience. Mentor help you experience, but have no time for knowledge. And knowledge is deep down. Knowledge that is vertical, and from learn from deep down up, you must stop work and get to learn that fundament and experience that fundament. And company depend what work, depend what mentor help you, and what would you work. But if you want to be flexible, adaptable, you must have fundament. You must know fundament. And company is not school. Company is working process. Mentor is for working process. And for learning, you must learn. A lot of time and learn. Okay, thank you for watching this video.